All right, today we're going to brew some tea. It's a special tea brew. It's from a small tea farm in Yakushima, which is a small island about an hour and a half ferry ride from Kagoshima. And here we can see the packaging for it. It's a cute, cute little package. So it comes from just a small tea farm run by just a couple. The couple does the farming, the roasting, the packaging, the whole process. So it's really a unique tea farm. The wife does the designing of the packaging and some of the pamphlets and stuff that go out with the tea, and the husband decides what kind of cultivars they're going to grow and how they're going to roast it and all that good stuff. So this is a Hoji Cha, as you can see on the package. But what's maybe a bit unique about this Hoji Cha is it's lightly roasted. So a lot of Hoji Chas you get are kind of fully roasted, or there's a spectrum of roast, but they all kind of really are forward on a roasted profile. And because of the light roast on this one, it maintains kind of a lot of its green tea flavors as well. So I've already got the tea loaded in my Kyushu here, 5 grams of tea, and I'm gonna get my kettle. So this kettle's already set to 205 degrees Fahrenheit. On their instructions, they say it could be anywhere from 195 to 205, but we're going on the higher end here. And I'm gonna go ahead and pour in about 100 milliliters of water. And I'm gonna set a timer for 2 minutes. I got a little timer handy here. Always time my tea because I'll probably forget that I have it brewing and get distracted, which is never a good thing. So while that's brewing, I'm going to talk about some of the teaware I have here. So, the Kyushu is what I brew the tea in, and then here in the middle is it's called a Justice Cup in English. So it's just sort of an intermediate vessel to hold the tea while you wait to pour it out. So, typically in especially Eastern tea traditions, you're drinking with these smaller teacups, kind of savoring a smaller amount instead of pouring a bunch into one cup and then drinking out of that cup. And then the other reason you would use a Justice Cup, and kind of more to why it's called a Justice Cup, is if you're brewing with multiple people, you all get the same tasting brew out of this cup, and you're going to pour it from here. Everyone gets the same flavor, the same brew time, all that kind of stuff. Whereas if you were to pour directly from the teapot, right, you pour the first person's tea, and by the time you're pouring into the second person's teacup, it might have brewed a bit too much, right? So get a stronger brew. So justice is justice for everyone being served tea. They all get the same brew. So I kind of like the concept there. Got a few seconds left on the timer here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and pour this in here. You can see this Kyushu as a really nice steady pour out of the nozzle there. Make sure you tap out all the water. Don't want the tea to brew in between sessions. Let's get all the water out. Cool. And take the lid off of the pot so again the tea doesn't steam while you're not drinking it. And then go ahead and pour it into the teacup here. So now the teacup's about full, and so if I was drinking tea with a second person here, I would pour the rest of the contents of this cup into their teacup. But for now, it'll hold until I get to drink the second brew. Yeah, this tea is really, really good. I really like this Hoji Cha. It's probably my favorite. Most Hoji Chas, they roast it to the point where you're pretty much just drinking roasted taste profile. You don't really get a lot of the tea leaf flavor in there. This one, because of its light roast, you really get a feeling of the actual taste of the tea in there with light notes of roasting. So that's kind of the ideal for me. And see, I don't know if you can get in there. I don't know if I can really tilt it to the point where I'm not spilling it. Not really. All right, so it's time for the second brew. So I heated the water back up, and I'm just gonna kind of finagle the tea leaves around in the Kyushu until they're all kind of spaced out again. Don't want them all clumped up into one spot. And just heating the water back up to 205 on my kettle. And this time I'm going to set on my timer. So we started at 2 minutes. And since this is a second brew, I'm going to add about 30 seconds to that. So I'm going to do 2 minutes and 30 seconds here. And you know, every tea brews a bit differently, so I would really follow the instructions from whoever you're getting your tea from. Some hojichas brew, you know, 5 grams in 30 seconds. It's all kind of dependent on the flavor profile of tea and how the farmer ideally, you know, envisions people drinking it. So I'm gonna pour this in here, and then I'm gonna start this timer, and we are ready to go. So I think this time I'm going to try and move the camera around so you can actually see the tea as it gets poured into these vessels here. Yeah, just some information on the packaging here. I can't read Japanese. I don't know if anyone watching this can, but feel free to pause the video and take a look. But from what I can make out, it's basically giving some brewing instructions. It says 3 to 4 grams, 100 milliliters for 2 to 3 minutes. And yeah, it says, I can see it says first brew. So maybe it's some information about subsequent brews as well. I guess a little bit about this teapot here, this Kyushu. There's a cool website where there's this pottery sort of reseller. They're based out of Chiba in Japan. It's near Tokyo, and they sort of work with independent artists throughout Japan. So this Kyushu comes from an artist in Tokoname. It's a cool website. You should check it out. They have lots of interesting teaware there, lots of different styles, and yeah, I always like supporting individual artists rather than, you know, some unknown company that's who knows who's actually the one making the teapot. So and it's fun, you know. This one's definitely, you know, a little more unique than some of the just like plain colored Kyushus you might find elsewhere. And actually I have another one over here off to the side, you can see. So this one is also a Tokoname Kyushu. You can see it's got some try to get to focus here. Yeah, it's got some cool kind of like gold flaking on the side of the teapot there. And yeah, just masterful craftsmen and women working on these. They're all done by hand. Okay, so timer is just up now. I'm gonna go ahead and pour this out and see. You can see how nice that pour is. And just a really nice tea liquor color there. And so my mom is also a ceramicist, a potter, I guess. I don't like the word potter. Maybe it's because it's tied up with Harry Potter. But yeah, she's a ceramicist, and she made this Justice Cup for me. So it's really the perfect size for this type of setup. And this is a Tenmoku style cup. So you got that characteristic sort of metallic sheen on the glaze on this one. So anyway. It's probably about good. Have that tea for later. And yeah, that's the Yakushima Hojicha. The tea farm is actually called Marugama Tea Factory, and that's what the hiragana and kanji say there. At least I think it does anyway. It's Marugama Tea farm or factory. I'm not sure which one, but in any case, they're pretty independent. They don't sell anything online right now. They don't ship internationally or anything like that. But I'm hoping they get there at some point soon. Okay. Thanks, and see you later.